Admiral's Log. The conquest of central Italy marks a significant milestone in our campaign, driving a wedge deep into the heart of Italian territories. This strategic victory has effectively divided their nation, complicating their efforts to mount a unified defense. While a two-front war might spell disaster for many nations, China, with its massive and well-coordinated armies, is more than capable of managing this challenge. However, amidst these triumphs, I find myself reflecting on my long service to the Chinese Navy. Decades of dedication, countless battles, and unwavering commitment to our nation have defined my career. Yet now, I feel the weight of these years more than ever. The constant demands of war, the relentless pursuit of victory, and the sacrifices made along the way have taken their toll. It's time for me to pass the torch to the next generation of leaders. My heart swells with pride for all that we have accomplished, but it also yearns for the peace and tranquility that has eluded me for so long. I'm ready to retire, to step back and allow fresh eyes and minds to guide our Navy into the future. As I prepare to take my leave, I do so with the utmost confidence in the capabilities of our forces. The Dragon remains strong, our Navy unmatched, and our strategic position unassailable. The lessons learned and the victories achieved will continue to guide us as we move forward. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 54. This is interesting. We have British battleships. Why are they in the Mediterranean? And question 2, how did they get here? Because I control the Strait of Gibraltar, so the only way that these guys got here was by circumnavigating Africa and going through the Suez Canal. Anyway, we have battleships Agamemnon and Victorious. 12 15-inch guns is what these guys bring to the party. Interestingly, the ship might be potent, the crew is cadets. So that is going to be a bit of a limiting factor for these ships. Nevertheless, 15-inch guns is no slouch. That's 12 of them. The beer guy is going to bring 12 16-inch guns on a 100,000-ton platform, and I do have veteran crew members. Let's exchange some shells and see who can land some accurate hits. And here we find the British battleships. They did not arrive unscathed. These ships apparently encountered some resistance. I'm not exactly sure who they have been fighting. I suspect it was a couple of German ships, because I believe the Brits are at war with the Germans. And, well, seeing as the British have 3 provinces, the Germans have pretty much everything else of England. I suspect that it was the Germans who intercepted these battleships and at least inflicted some damage on them. So that is very kind of them to do. Now, as for range, my 16-inch guns are already in range. Let's have a look at the revised beer guy. The beer guy, you're just happy to see me, or going for long-range shots. I'm not sure if they're able to bring all of these cannons, all of these guns to bear in one go. Because are they elevated that much? No, that looked a little bit more like 2 salvos to me. Would be funny though. Who else is opening up? It's not the Grumpy. It's not the Renee. Oh, it's the Ligny. Ligny with her 18-inch guns. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, at this range, we're definitely not going to be very accurate. We're still range finding, so it's expected that these first couple of shells are not going to be that accurate. As for the more torpedo-happy ships, I'm not really eager to use these at the moment. I don't really have to. Renee Pascal has taken some damage. She can contribute to the fight using her 13-inch guns. She doesn't need to do a whole lot other. Light cruisers, heavy cruisers, these boys are just going to move forwards towards the target at the moment without using torpedoes. But they are already attracting fire from the British. That's interesting. If they want to start taking these things out, that would not be great for the light cruisers. But it's something I can kind of live with. Because the light cruisers aren't that big of a loss. Ah, Beer Guy is building some accuracy. Very good. Now, Beer Guy is a ship that can do a bit more speed, but I don't really need them to. I just need to get this ship at a bit of an angle so I can use all 12 barrels. Range to the Brits is about 40 clicks. Oh, we've done 1 hit. Now, sometimes the game does this weird thing, where if a ship has already taken damage before, it starts to attribute the crew loss to the shell that you just hit it with. The shells that I hit it with were blocked. They didn't actually do anything, like they did 3 damage. But they did apparently cause the loss of 374 crew members. It's not quite the case. But I'll accept it, because it's the way that the game handles it. Light cruisers are getting... Oh, sorry, there's another group of light cruisers here. Jingyang. 20 clicks. Need to get just a touch closer. The problem is, smokescreen is going to run out before that happens, and we're looking at, what is that, 6 8-inch guns? What else you got? Another 6. Yep, that thing just rotated. There's another and another. And their rate of fire seems to be pretty... Ooh, you hit me. Huh. It's unfortunate. You hit me pretty well. Fortunately, these things don't go down to 1 hit. But it is quite likely that they will go down to 3. So I'm going to try and position this ship so that it's capable of launching the torpedoes and then disengaging. I think losing a light cruiser over this little fight is not really worth it. Especially because these guys take, what, like 11 months to build? Nah. Well, maybe. 14 clicks. We should start seeing the torpedoes come out of these CLs. As for these CAs, I believe that torpedo range is... yeah, it's a bit less. It's 14, but we're kind of getting there. Oh dear. That's the end of the smoke screen. Ah, torps are away. Jingyang just launched Shaoxiang and Zhangzhou. So time to get these guys disengaged. And then see how well these British ships can handle their torpedo soup. As for the second line of cruisers, these can potentially go for the second target. So I'm going to tell them to engage that. We also have DDs. Oh, you already decided to pitch in. Okay, that's cool. You guys can't. Yeah, the CL's over here. The woohoo! Sorry. And the Suihua. And the Mundanjiang. These guys are not going to launch. Also because it is potentially much to the detriment of some of these DDs, which are going to be caught completely unaware. Now, I'm kind of wondering, where the hell are the shells from my battleship? Because at the moment, we've done 130 points of damage. Like, is that it? We're going to switch to armor piercing. Also, I need to keep an eye on this ship. I need to angle more to starboard. Let's say about 2 degrees right rudder. There is your 12... yeah, 12 shells. Excellent. Punch it. Ah, torps have arrived. Hit. Hit. You caught a dud, you lucky man. I thought I told these battleships to start firing armor piercing. Well, so far they got that flooding extremely well contained. Look at that blue bar, almost nothing's happening. Oh, as opposed to my ship. It's unfortunate. We also got the torpedoes from the destroyers coming in. So this is going to hit this battleship and potentially cause some flooding, but judging by how well they took these 2 torps, I'm thinking they're not going to be very impressed with my torpedoes. There. Didn't even knock out the rudder. CAs. You guys, at this point, really should be launching. Like, where are your torps at? Oh, maybe because you need to point the launcher too far forward. Okay, start turning back. Victorious. Tell me. Anti-torp 5. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Single hull bottom, reinforced bulkheads 1, anti-flood 1. Oh, they're still using geared turbines? But they got an AUX 4 engine. That's not bad. Citadel 4, modern armor 1. Quinson's rangefinder and generation 2 radar rangefinder. So these guys should be pretty capable of fine range. What about their armor? Yes! The British know how to build battleships. Main belt, bow and stern, pretty heavily defended. Main deck can take something... Well, they can pretty much take anything short of an asteroid. At 14 inches, that's more than my battleships have. And I give a lot of armor to my battleships, but 14 inches? It's no surprise we're not getting through. Like, that is a lot of armor to pen. As for your accuracy, holy crap, 33%? It's only Mark 4? Yikes. These guys still didn't torp. That is annoying. Okay, fine, go home. Next line of CAs might be able to contribute something to the fight. Start hitting the Agamemnon. Crew-wise, many bulkheads and crew quarters are spacious. These guys don't really care if they lose crew. I mean, in the long run, yeah, but this guy's lost 22% of the crew, the Victorious, but their damage control and their secondary guns are almost perfectly operable. Gentlemen, if you can just redefine the tight formation, that'd be great, because one of my biggest battleships can't fire. Which is a bit annoying. Split. There you are. At this rate, I can potentially still use the Pascal with the torpedoes. But, it's going to be almost like we're doing a torpedo run with a DD. Whoa! 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 Lie 1. Traitor. Shut that shit down. Leave this place. Gordon, sorry about that. What the hell? I get some misfires, but this is reckless endangerment of your fellow crew members. This thing took 3 torpedoes to the tune of almost 30,000 points of damage. That was uncalled for. Hold on, you lost your fire control? You put 13 inches on the conning tower, but nothing on the superstructure? Interesting choice. Agamemnon. That's a lot of accuracy. What are you targeting? The Jing'an? Which is... where? There. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, let's keep punching these guys. Good lord, this thing's not gonna survive. Poor cruisers. I've already lost a light and I'm about to lose a heavy. And another heavy is, well, struggling for its life. And I'm not sure if it's gonna make it out. Increase speed to flank. There she goes. That's the Jing'an gone. Oh, bloody hell. All of these guys are just making a mess of things because they're not fighting. At this range, I don't care about deflection. We're going to use armor-piercing shells. They will not send torpedoes. You're going to turn to port. You're going to target this with torpedoes. No, sorry, the torp already arrived. You just launched torps. Very good. All the main gun damage is just completely lackluster. The most damage we've done is with the 9 inchers. And of course torps. But 9-inch guns? That's the cruisers. I guess the cruisers are raking the superstructures? That's probably it. Dud. You lucky man. What are you targeting? Agamemnon. Well, let's make some noise then. Go on. Reload, 41.6 seconds. Yours is 60 seconds with a triple barrel. That's 2 turrets, and that is the damage that I seek. Thank you very much. That's 3.5k damage with 1 shell hit. Nevertheless, despite all of these hits, the Agamemnon, well, she continues to plow through. And she's now shooting back at the René Pascal. Which is bad news for the Pascal, because this really hurt. Let's see if I can try and extract you from this battle. Victorious is still limping around with 40% structural. These British battleships are really tough. How did they afford a $3.7 billion warship like this? On 3 provinces. That is ridiculously expensive, and they're somehow making it work. Okay, you need to leave. Can you people stop hugging each other? You're not even in the same division anymore. What? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't banking on a main shell or a main belt pen for 12,500 damage. And then another for 3. At this rate, the Brits are winning the battle. Unacceptable outcome. And of course, their battleships will go down, yes, but I've lost 3 ships already, including a battleship. Come on, beer guy. Finish this thing off. Post haste. Good damage on the Victorious. Hit. 2k. There you go. That was the killing blow from the beer guy. Okay. Victorious. You're next. 12% structural integrity left, but that is very quickly getting reduced. A couple of 18-inch shells give this thing the good news. 5% structural. Go on. Finish them off. 0.3. They've taken 30,000 points of damage. Tough ship. There she goes. Victorious is not so victorious. Thankfully, because good lord, this thing took some ships down with it. That was the loss of 1 battleship, 1 heavy cruiser, a very, very serious situation for the Gordon, caused by the Lai Yuan, and the Zhangyang died due to some 15-inch shell fire. Nice. Okay, well, at least I got 50,000 victory points more than the British, but the real question is, how are they going to be useful? Because the British don't have anything to trade, except perhaps money. But after the loss of these battleships, I'm not so sure if they have a lot of money left. The Brits immediately sue for peace, and I'm going to agree. I don't really care for my war with the British, because it's just interfering with every operation that I have, as far as it concerns the Italians. The Italians are definitely not exactly winning this fight, especially since I have taken central Italy. It took a bit of fighting, but we got it done. And with that, the road is now open to some other ports. So I have a very serious fleet over here of 449,000 tons. I have another one with 800,000 tons standing by. And I'm going to try and take eastern Sicily from them as well. Of course, there is still an Italian battleship in the way, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. As for Germany, we are in an alliance. So this means that I might not be at good terms with the Brits, but the Germans kind of cancel that out, insofar as the British have any ships, which they really don't. And I believe that the British are looking at... Yes, they're getting some visits. Good lord. That is not looking good for the British. Look at the losses. 6.5k for the Germans. And the Italians took massive losses. Of course, the Italians and the British. But they're the defender, right? They should have the advantage. At least, that's usually how that goes. There's another 150,000 men walking in, so I think northwestern England is going to get taken out pretty soon. We have another very sizable invasion going on towards the west. And while the British have more troops, well, it doesn't really seem to be helping them. So I suspect that the British, yeah, 5% army logistics. The Germans, 100%. So this completely explains away why the Germans are completely crushing it when it comes to British. Oh yeah, okay, so they can't take southern England yet, because they're still prepping an invasion there. Also, this is gonna have to take... Yeah, it's gonna have to get taken from eastern England, because this is a lot of ports. 128k, 67k, Portsmouth is 508k, Plymouth 633. Yeah, that's a lot of ports. So a lot of port strength. So the best way to take southern England is just to invade. Somehow Belgium is not part of Germany? Isn't Belgium usually the first casualty when Germany goes anywhere? Huh. Okay. Wow, really? That's ambitious. Look at that. The army force for the Italians somehow still exists despite taking enormous losses. And the defender, Austria-Hungary, and myself, we're holding on. They have made 0% progress into Galicia. Good lord. Okay. Oh no. Oh, the Tendriu. If this thing is even named Tendriu, it's an... When did I eliminate Japan? Was that 40 years ago? Like 1920 or something? So this thing is at least 45 years old. And it's going up against what seems to be a pretty modern battleship from the Italians. Yeah. 8 17-inch guns. And I have a heavy cruiser. Okay, fine. Challenge accepted. And to make matters more interesting, the Tendriu starts off with no fuel. A little later, I forgot to continue the recording on this one. The Tendriu is engaging the battleship with vigor, but seeing as it's a very old ship and it has taken some serious losses, I mean, it's poorly armored as well. It's a glass cannon. It can't go anywhere. It has cramped crew quarters. The chances of this thing surviving is not great, but it is still fighting against the Portugallo. And this thing has almost no armor. So, in proud Italian tradition, they make glass cannons, and maybe Tendriu can capitalize on that. They have, despite their old guns, very good armor piercing. So I'm kind of banking on the fact that this thing might still inflict some damage, while the Jingwen tries to just ignore everything that's going on and has a go at the convoy, because that's the real objective. Ironically, Jingwen is cheaper, sorry, is more expensive than this battle cruiser. So it's entirely likely that we'll lose this ship, but so be it. What is an interesting side effect here is that whoever owns this ship, and it might be the Greek, are going to be out of a ship. And that kind of opens up a market. They might come knocking and go, hey, dude, we lost a battle cruiser, do you have any? And I'll go, sure. Sign here, please. At which point they will probably spend 8 billion trying to replace this $333 million warship. Now it looks like the torpedoes are going to strike true. Is this thing... Oh, anti-torp 5. If this isn't a dud outright. And it's 2 torpedo hits. Good man. You're about to have a very serious problem with your buoyancy. Your crew is a... Your crew's taking serious losses. Reload's 158 seconds. Come on, if you can shoot this thing once or twice and pen with those 17.5, so you can potentially kill it off. But not if you die first. Credit where credit is due, this thing is not flooding. And as it is not flooding, it's still a level firing platform. Wait, you lost both your guns? Well, that's less than ideal. Okay. At this angle, we'll never pen it. No, destroy the secondary gun. Come on, you might get one shot. Blast it. A little bit of fire damage. Crew, cramped. don't think that thing is going to be around for much longer. And meanwhile, Jingwen is engaging. Gonna take down the convoy here. If only this thing had a bit more armor and a bit more reload, I think she could win this. What are my guns fighting with? Armor piercing? No, HE? No. That is a bit unwelcome. Anti-torp? 3. The problem is I don't have enough structural integrity left to trade with. Good lord, that's a fast torpedo. What are you sending? 57 knots. 21 incher. Probably a fast one. And it reloads in 176 seconds. 3 minutes to put a new tube into the torpedo launcher. Oh, sorry, to put a new torpedo into the tube. Yeah, she's gone. Well, I'd say she did quite well, considering her opponent. So now Jingwen has to try and speed things along here. And at 32 knots, I'm quite a bit faster than the Portugallo. So I don't think they'll catch me. Bit of a weird battle, this one. Interesting, nonetheless. Let's take out the convoy, still hurt the Italians, and, well, potentially order up or have another battleship or battlecruiser be ordered by the, I suspect, Greek owner of the battlecruiser. Oh, and because I don't own the battlecruiser, I might lose some victory points over it, and I certainly don't have to fix it. Which means no further expenses for me. That also is particularly welcome. Ariete, down. Come on. Couple more. Wolframio, Dentice, and something else. Let's go. No, not you. Let's go. Turn to port. Bring more of the 5 inchers into the fight and more of the 9 inchers. And completely wreck these transports. This thing is running at 21.8 at 40 clicks. Yeah, you're going to be out of range fairly soon. Gone. And gone. %, 20%, dead. Mission accomplished. And now we're going to bravely run away. After some careful consideration, I decided to take the Jingwen into harm's way. After waiting a while to have this ship, well, empty out most of its ammunition supplies. It's ran out of all of its HE. It still has a bit of AP left, but not much. So with that in mind, I might be able to have this thing get reduced to just a couple of 5-inch guns. I just have to hope that it keeps firing without actually hitting me, because once it did, it caused a lot of damage. That 2 hits, those 2 at 108.58. Yeah, that took the ship down 40%. Oof, ricochet. She still has 33 shells left, so she can fire about 8 salvos, considering the ship only uses bow turrets. And after that, it's 5-inch guns. That doesn't mean that the 5-inch guns are dangerous, but they're far less dangerous and much more manageable than the 15-inchers. And if I take this thing down, hey, it is 1.1 billion. I'll happily take the win. It's a bit of a weird win, but we're not counting whether these wins are bad or weird or good or whatever. As long as I'm able to get some victory. Ow, points. Don't do that. When it comes to torpedoes, I don't think I'm going to need those, because the torpedo launchers, if they're still functional by the time that I get there, are going to be just a marginal impact, quite literally, because they have anti-torp 5. So this thing is going to have to win on its gun merits. Now, they have 9 shells left, and the AI is stuck between a rock and a hard place here. But they cannot stop shooting, because I will continue to shoot. I have little over 1,000 shells, and I can keep this up for a long, long time. They can't. They got 1 shell left. If they stop firing, I win, because I simply will push in. If they don't stop firing, they're going to run out of ammo. And there's a very good chance that I will still win. Such as right now. This thing is too slow to run away. this thing doesn't have the firepower to win. And I have a good rate of fire. I have a veteran crew. I can now close the distance. These 5-inch guns, no, they got about 4 inches of armor pen, so they might be able to pen my superstructure. No, they can't even pen the superstructure. They can pen the 5-inch guns, I guess. That'll be about it. So the Re di Portogallo is dead. It just hasn't registered yet. Now, with a couple of AP shells, I can probably knock out some secondary guns before they become a problem. The 5-inch guns are probably pretty protected. Yeah, 5-inch casemates. Pretty heavily protected behind 8 inches of armor, but it doesn't matter, because I can knock out everything else. And the more crew I knock out, the worse the ship starts performing, especially the damage control parties. At this rate, this crew is probably gonna die, and the structural integrity of the ship might not be the first thing to go. HE. 0.6? There you go, flooding. Penned right through the bow. Why? Well, there's no bow belt. The forebelt's 1 inch. I can pen that, even with high explosive. As for my torpedo launchers, under these conditions, I might want to use them. But my angle is bad. So I'm going to try and get a slightly better angle. And yes, of course I can try to go broadside onto this ship, but that still opens me up to some threat. 3 clicks. These are slow torps, relatively. At this point, armor piercing. And torpedoes. Flooding. Flooding. The reason why I waited this long is because if I now pen the ship with a torpedo and cause flooding, their damage control parties are not going to be nearly as effective. Fuck, they destroyed the torpedo launcher. Okay, fine. It'd be like that. The main tower's been destroyed. My ship is down to 40% structural integrity, but it'll still get the job done. That's a really... I think it's a really old ship, actually. Because these hulls become obsolete after a while, but it has been modernized. Generation 3 radar rangefinder, modern armor 2. I just never gave it any armor, but it does have modern armor, I guess. It's a weird ship. It might be the Italian version of the Enigma, huh? Like a very old ship that you just keep around because it performs. It's not terribly expensive. And I guess in the wars preceding the one that I have with Italy, it actually survived. Maybe it never saw action? I'm not sure. At any rate, this is probably the last action that it will see. Unfortunately, I have just run out of high explosive. Fine. Push in, close the distance, and eliminate. Because at this rate, we're just going to ricochet all over the place. Even with 1-inch bow belt. Look at that. Ding, ding, ding. Blocked, ricochet. Yeah, end the battle. You wish. My ship might take some more crew loss, but I think we'll be able to afford it. Just need to get a good flat broadside. There we go. Again. Overpen. Oh, come on. Pen it. Destroyed main tower. Again. Is that it? Overpen, overpen, overpen? Is that what we're doing? This is looking a bit stupid at this point. The crew is 32% lost, but with AP, I'll not be able to do that much damage against their crew. At this point, like, you should be able to just flatten this thing. 9 inches of belt. This thing can pen more than that, not by much. The bow and stern, I should go right through. And maybe I am going right through, because I'm getting overpens all over the place. This is a little silly, really. Ricochet, flooding. I wouldn't be surprised if my 5-inch gun is actually proving to be more useful. Yeah, it's hard to figure out whether the 5-inch guns did a lot of work here, because we've also taken down that convoy, of course. They're doing 14 knots, look at you go. Acceleration on these ships is so good. Gas turbines. Come on! Okay, let me just finish this guy off camera. After a while, this is getting ridiculous. I have expended 1,000 rounds against this particular target and it just refuses to die. This ship... Yeah, time is running out. This ship just refuses to sink. It just won't. Even all the 9-inch ammo, and it all ricocheted off the main belt, or at least most of it did. They're down to about 1% crew that they can lose, and then the ship suffers defeat. But we're not there yet, and with the armor-piercing shells that I have on my 5-inchers, and the lack of time, I don't feel like I'm going to get there. Like, 44%. And then pew pew, 44% still. Pew pew. So, we're gonna do something a bit more drastic. Ramming speed. I have the structural integrity, they don't. I have the buoyancy, they don't. If I can ram this thing more or less amidships, I can probably inflict the flooding that I need and take this thing out of the fight. It might come at the expense of the Jingwan, but I'm willing to take that risk. 44.7% crew loss. There you go. Sometimes you just gotta give him a little bump. And they do surrender. Because the Chinese ships are completely batshit crazy. Or at least their admiral is. Much as expected, the British have done the wise thing and we have signed a peace treaty. Beyond a couple of light cruisers and, well, a couple of battleships, they really don't have much to offer, so I'll just take their cash. Like, they don't have any province. Which just goes to show how bad of a state the British Empire is in. Yeah, fine. As for Italy... What? Oh, I'm in alliance with them. Cool. Why not? Why not? Sudan has been conquered. Look at that. Italy has been pushed back out of Galicia. I've tried to find a solution for peace, but negotiations failed. Unfortunate. Oh, they're pushing right back into Galicia. We have all sorts of people trying to take up arms against me, which is not in their best interest. I am trying to end this conflict with the Italians, because I think it's a faster way to get the territories, and just to wrap up this war, because it's gone on for a very long time, and I'm kind of done with the Italians. Now, there is another convoy mission here. Yes, I don't think so. I don't think so. We're just going to auto-resolve this, and it might result in... wow. Only one of them took light injuries? Okay, maybe I should have taken that all by myself. I'm not sure why the Italians don't want to go to peace. It's go to peace or go to pieces at this point. They don't really have a whole lot of other options. I would love to try and invade eastern Sicily, maybe to really drive the knife in deeper. Alternatively, I could try and hit... southeastern Italy. Yeah, why not? Let's just put some fleets over here and tell these people that disobeying my peace treaty is not necessarily in their best interests. And there it is. The peace that I've wanted. Now, this means that I can probably... Yeah, I can... I can take all the territory. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you very much, and I'll still get 6 billion in spare. Their battleships, I don't really care for those. Their other ships, no thank you. So they're going to pay me another 6.7 billion for the discomfort of being at war with them. Oh, they didn't give me all the territories? Come on. Come on. Why are you like this? Everybody's firing their admiral because they're expending too much money. Shame on them. So, I think that with the exception of Tanganyika, I pretty much have all of it. Yeah. Africa's divided between the Germans, 1 Italian province, and myself. That's all. As for the rest, like, I'm in an alliance with the Germans, with the Soviets, and with the Austrians. The only other major power is just someone we've decimated, the Italians. The United States is a shadow of what it used to be with just 2 provinces. It has an economy of 81 billion, but it's shrinking. The British, 34 billion, but shrinking with 3 provinces. Yeah, the Soviets aren't worth much, but they're still here, somehow. I think this is a good point to end the campaign. And that might come a little bit out of the blue, but I'm honestly quite tired of this campaign. I feel like the original objective of eliminating Japan has been achieved 50 episodes ago. I think it was episode 3 or something that I eliminated these guys. Or at least eliminated them once, and then they came back and I had to kick their ass again. So that was the Japanese campaign. Then I went on to some bigger fish and I took out the United States, as well as everything in the Caribbean. I took over large swaths of territory in South Africa. I started taking over, South America. I started taking over territory in Africa. I almost defeated the entirety of Spain. Only northern Spain is still there as an ungoverned territory. France has 0 chance of coming back from the dead. So the French and all of their territories are gone. The British are about to lose their last territory. Last territories, in fact. And, well, I have no further interest in going to war with Germany. This campaign has run its course. And that might sadden some of you, but hey, it's been 54 episodes of this one. It's the longest campaign I've ever run, and I had fun with it. I hope you did too. But it's time to say goodbye to this Admiral, this campaign, and all the territory that we've conquered. Some of the weirdest parts, potentially, is that despite being in control of 150 provinces, which is almost 4 times as many as Germany, I still don't have an economy that's on par with the Germans. Oh well. At least I have 224 ships, and as such, the biggest navy. Thank you guys for watching this campaign. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I will potentially start a campaign as the Spanish soon, because it has been requested, and I have never done a Spanish campaign. It's going to pose a pretty unique set of challenges, which should be interesting. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts.